3T makes some of the best looking gravel bikes on the market. And as I've been finding out over the last couple weeks, some of the best riding as well. And that got me wondering, what's the deal with 3T? So I did some research, and what I found may surprise you. From their humble Italian town roots to their Tour de France victory, 3T's history has uniquely set them apart in today's ever-expanding world of gravel bikes. And don't you worry, because we'll get into all of those bikes in just a few minutes, but first, we're gonna take a jump back into history all the way back to 1961. That's when Mario De Dionigi started a small company called Tecnologia del Tubo Torino, which thankfully was later shortened to 3T. Mario's workshop was based in Turin, Italy, a city known for industry and innovation. While most of the bike world was still focused on steel, Mario had his sights set on a lightweight aluminum alloy. His mission was simple: make handlebars and stems that were lighter, stiffer, and better looking than anything else on the market. And apparently that strategy worked, because by the 1970s and 80s, 3T handlebars were everywhere. The iconic 3TTT logo was stamped on the cockpits of bikes ridden by legends like Francesco Moser, who broke the hour record using a 3T-equipped bike. Their Italian-made bars and stems were the default for some of the most iconic bikes of the era. Colnago, Pinarello, Bianchi, you name it, their top-tier builds featured 3T components. It should come as no surprise then that a 3T-equipped bike ridden by Carlos Sastre went on to win the Tour de France in 2008. By the late 2000s, 3T had met or even exceeded all of Mario's ambitions. On top of that, the cycling industry was shifting away from his beloved aluminum products and looking more into the world of carbon fiber. It was around this time that 3T was bought by René Wiertz, who led the company from Italian-made alloy to Asian-made carbon. But Wiertz wasn't satisfied with just making components. So, in 2015, he hired Cervelo co-founder Gerard Vroomen, and together they helped 3T make the leap from component manufacturer to full-blown frame builder. But they weren't setting out to make just another road bike or a cookie-cutter endurance bike. They had their eyes set on something else: gravel. At the time, gravel bikes were still figuring out what they wanted to be. Most were essentially cyclocross bikes with slacker head angles and slightly bigger tires. But 3T approached gravel from the opposite direction, not as a dirtier road bike, but as a new, purpose-built category of performance-oriented bikes. And one of the biggest ways they planned to do this was by bringing road bike aerodynamics to the world of gravel. And that's just what they did next, when they launched the 3T Exploro, the world's first aero gravel bike. They called their revolutionary tubing shape Squareo, which was one of the first designs built to optimize aerodynamics around big volume tires. But 3T didn't stop there. They took the world by storm even the following year by introducing their first road bike, the Strada. The Strada was the first road race bike designed entirely around one-by drivetrains. That allowed 3T to remove the front derailleur, narrow the bottom bracket, and optimize the frame shapes for aerodynamic flow across the entire drivetrain. It also made room for wider tires, up to 30C or more, depending on the version, which was rare at the time. When these groundbreaking bikes first came out, people thought 3T was crazy. Gravel bikes were too slow to necessitate aerodynamics, and there were far too many drawbacks associated with one-by drivetrains to ever be adopted in the pro peloton. But 3T proved otherwise, and it didn't take long for other brands to follow suit with similar designs on their own gravel bikes. But thankfully for us, 3T wasn't done innovating, and today they boast quite a deep line of bikes. The Race Max, launched in 2020, is the spiritual successor to the original Exploro. It builds on everything 3T learned from the early aero gravel experiments and refines it into a cleaner, faster, and more versatile package. If you're looking for something even more aggressive, there's the Extrema, which fits massive 700 by 57C tires, has a litany of frame mounts, but still retains 3T's trademark commitment to aerodynamics. The bike I've been riding lately and having a ton of fun on is the Primo, which bridges the gap between road and gravel. It's a great option for folks looking for one bike that can tackle anything from weekend group rides to single-track adventures. Speaking of the road side of things, 3T's groundbreaking Strada got a full redesign in 2022, adding modern features like full internal cable routing and, to the surprise of many, added front derailleur compatibility. Two of the most recent bikes in 3T's lineup are the Race Max Boost and the Ultra Boost. And no, the latter of which is not a pair of running shoes, but they're both e-bikes. Launched in 2022, the RaceMax Boost takes the fast geometry and aero shaping of the original RaceMax and pairs it with a MOLLE X20 rear hub motor. The result? A gravel e-bike that looks almost identical to the non-motorized version and weighs just 12.4 kilograms or 27.3 pounds. Released just a year later in 2023, the Ultra Boost is the e-bike equivalent of the Ultra, rowdier, bigger tired, and more capable in gnarly terrain. It also uses the MOLLE X20 system, so it keeps the weight low and the stealth factor high. So whether you're racing Unbound, tackling single track, or just trying to be the first of your crew to the local coffee shop, 3T really has a bike that's cut out for you. And the best news, we at Bikes Online carry most of the bikes I just mentioned, all at a price you can't beat for a prestigious carbon frame builder like 3T. But 3T's story isn't over just yet. Remember a little earlier when I talked about 3T shifting their manufacturing over to Asia when they made the switch to carbon? Well, there was a good reason for it. Not only does it help keep prices down, but seeing as these factories have been manufacturing carbon bikes for decades, it ensures the highest, most consistent quality as well. But ever the innovators, 3T took the bold step in 2022 of moving carbon frame manufacturing back to an in-house facility in Italy. Their new facility in Bergamo doesn't use the traditional hand-laid carbon sheet method you'll find in Taiwan or China. Instead, they're pioneering filament winding and resin transfer molding. That means computer-controlled machines wind continuous strands of carbon fiber directly onto a mold, then inject resin under pressure, resulting in cleaner, more consistent frame construction with less waste. And the result? Their special edition Italia versions of the RaceMax, Extrema, and Strada are some of the most coveted bikes on the market. So yes, when they say made in Italy, they actually mean it. Not just designed in Italy or assembled in Italy, but actually made in Italy. So who is 3T? A fiercely creative, ambitiously innovative brand that's not afraid to buck the status quo if it means unlocking next-level performance. They've gone from a small component shop in Turin to one of the most innovative players in the gravel scene, with in-house carbon, race-proven designs, and a willingness to take risks that bigger brands just don't. I get tons of compliments whenever I'm riding my 3T Primo. It really is a special bike, and it's awesome to have them in the ever-growing Bikes Online catalog. So, if you have any last questions about 3T or the bikes that we carry, drop a comment below and we'll get you a response. While you're down there, like and subscribe to Bikes Online channel where I'll be hanging out, and after you've done that, get out there, grab your bike, and get ripping.